Hi everyone, this is Bax Art 19. Today I'm gonna tell you about different blending tools that you can use in your graphite and charcoal artworks, and some of them you can use in other medium as well. And blending tools really help you to give like smooth finishes on like portraits, backgrounds, and like on many of your artworks. So we can get started. The first blending tool which I'm gonna tell you is a tissue paper. And what I want to tell you, this is a Bristol smooth paper where I'm going to work on today. This is a Bristol smooth paper. Okay, I will tell you how to use the tissues for blending. So imagine this is the first base. You can always use tissue paper for like first base and many things, and for backgrounds and for larger areas. So this is a 4B pencil done. This is a soft facial tissue. It's not like a kitchen roll or anything. This is a soft one. You can always fold them to like a small square shape or something, and then you can usually use these corners, so like very pointed, and then use them in like circular motion. If you see, that's how you blend them with tissue paper. You do multiple layers. What I will tell you is, like, before you add multiple layers with graphite or charcoal, always blend them with these tissue papers. Even if you apply charcoal powder, blend them with these tissues. These are really good for larger areas, and it's really smooth. Okay, and then this is the tissue paper. And the second one, which I think you guys need to know about, an effective one, is a Q-tip. And of course, some of you might have already used it. Q-tips are like really good when it comes to blending, and it's mainly useful for like small areas, I would say, or like under the eyes, or to apply eyeshadow, or over the nose. This is a nameless brand, and it's a very cheap one I use. You can get any other good fancy Q-tip as well. And you can start applying these Q-tips to blend. These are one of the very effective ways, and I mean, this is my go-to. I always have Q-tips with me for blending. These are really effective. So like I mentioned, this is a very cheap quality, so that's why it is like very thin. You can get like another better one, like anything would do. This always helps you to blend a smaller area, not a very defined one, but that's big enough to cover this tip. Will be really good for you to blend. So this is the result of a Q-tip. Okay, another one are brushes. Brushes, I have never used brushes before when I was using graphite artworks. Since I started using charcoal powder, I started using it, but like I find brushes are a really good, nice blending tool to blend. So I will show you the different brushes I have. These are some of the brushes. All these are makeup brushes. How you can buy them is like you can buy them in any dollar store. Look for eyeshadow brushes, the brushes that are tiny like this, that are used to apply lip color and eyeshadows. These tiny ones are really good. Sometimes I use an angle brush for like some sharp points to cover the eyes and other places. And I want to tell you how to clean this one. I've already used them with the charcoal, so it might have some charcoal pigment to it, so you see. So you never wash them like completely. It's okay if they have. So if you just like dust them with like a tissue paper multiple times, it'll be gone, and it's good to use. Sometimes it's good to have the residue in it as well. So you have them, and then you start blending them, and these are one of the very good options. I mainly use brushes mainly to use charcoal powder. If you want to know how to use charcoal powders or how to blend charcoal powders in your artworks, I will show it another video. So this is how you blend using, so you can use different medium as well. So on top of this you can use tissue paper as well if you want like much more smoother, you know what I mean. So these are for the brushes, and I always say, always try, if you want like a smooth base layer, you can always create textures on skin on the top as like a final step, or like final step before that you can have this smooth base layer. So on top of brush as well, you can use the tissue paper and do it. It's really good. And another one, which an important one, not many people use it, or some people use it and never say much about it, are like the sponges. These are the makeup sponges. These are like mainly used for blending. You can also use the blending ones for face. These are like concealers, a makeup which I got. These are really smooth, especially for like a large background or even for skin. But I want to tell you, these applicators, like they try to take away a lot of the graphite and the charcoal pigment in the art. So you might need to do multiple layers if you're using them. And you can also use them to create highlights in a particular area, like trying to remove, you know, the graphite or charcoal from a particular area. You can do that as well. These are really helpful to cover large areas. This is a very new one, so there is nothing inserted, so I'm using it. But if you see, this will try to reduce the graphite and the charcoal much, making it a much more smoother layer. But like much of the graphite will be picked up by these sponges. You may not see it, but like you see, I have applied light and it still looks lighter. So you can keep applying multiple layers and blend them. These are really good. I used to use them on my graphite works, then I wanted to have like you know, some more texture to my art, so I stopped using these sponges to get like really smooth. But I used to use them on like backgrounds when I really wanted very smooth finishes. So these are for the sponges. Okay, so these are all the different blending tools I use in my artworks. And what I want to tell you, the tissue paper and sponges you can use for large areas. And you can also use a large brush on a larger area. So you can get like different brushes. I have one large brush. So how I control it, like I put a paper over this brush and covered it, taped it, so I can move it anywhere like this, you know, to control how big I can use it for. So you can use such brushes for like very large areas. You can apply charcoal on them and apply. And like another important thing when it comes to a smaller one is the Q-tip, and then very important blending tool which I wanted to show you are the blending stumps. The blending stumps are really good, and they are very helpful, especially when it comes to very fine blending. When you draw an eye or an eyeball, like where you want to blend these edges, this is where it comes to help, and really helps, especially in the corner of the noses, eyes, when their lines are very fine. You can use them to blend. These are mainly used especially for like small areas. That's what I use it for, but you can try using it for a bigger area too. It's up to you. But so it comes in like different shapes, and I have like multiple of them over here. So it comes in a very big thing. You can use them. And here I'm just gonna blend this like this. I'm using the sides, you see here, and blend it. And then sometimes when I have some residue left out of it, I use them to draw some lines as well. You know, you see what you see? So that's what I use these blending stumps for. And how to clean these blending stumps are like, you need to have like some sandpaper, and you need to use the sandpaper to clean them off. So I have this sandpaper roll, so you have to just keep rubbing them in the sandpaper, and then it becomes cleaner. That's how you clean it. And these are the blending stump. You can also find them in different shapes, and you can use them especially for like very small and minute areas. Would be very nice. These are the ones. Sorry, I forgot to include the blending stump before. And what I want to tell you is, like I mentioned, for tissue papers, large area brushes, you can use large brushes for the large area, and you can use the sponges for the large area, and the Q-tip and the blending stump, and a very small brushes for the minute areas. And you don't have to buy all of these to use in your artworks. You can experiment one after the other. If you are starting and you want to start with something, I will say always have a tissue paper with you all the time. That will really help you to create the very good beautiful blending layer. And then that's blending experiment for like very good base layer. So get a good one that's a facial soft tissue. And brushes, you can, if you're someone who's using charcoal powders, it's a must. That's how you apply them. If not, you can skip them. And the sponges also, you can try if you can get blending stump, like blending sponges, the makeup sponges, and Q-tip, you can find it anywhere, but blending stumps are better than Q-tips. But if you can get Q-tips for now, that works. Whichever you can afford, you can do it. So pick one for the larger areas, pick one for the smaller areas, and just one of each would do. And then you can start your works from there. And then if you have any questions on how to use any of these tools in your artworks, if you have any particular questions or you want more videos on such tools, please let me know in the comment section. I'll post more videos on that. Okay, thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye.